the plain old hippie guy, construction worker.
How did Master Legend come about? What made you decide to put the gear on and go out there and do it?
Well, there's a comic I put up recently about my origin story as when I was very young, in my first grade. I come from a very abusive family, so my daddy was a real mean man. He was in the Ku Klux Klan and all that, and he used to whip me and beat me and starve me and do all this stuff. And then finally I went to school, and these bullies reminded me of him. And so it was just something inside of me. I knew I couldn't fight my dad at the time because he was too big for me, but I eventually got him. But then at school, whenever I saw somebody else being bullied, I couldn't stand it, and I felt it inside me that I should go fight and help that person. If they can't fight them themselves, then I'm going to do it. And so by second grade, I made myself a mask and a shirt with an emblem on it, because I found some comic books in a garbage can, and it gave me the idea. So this is the way to do it. Because there was one time I was fighting these bullies, and I got in all the trouble. I was getting into trouble. So I said, well, I got to figure out something. And it came to me, there you go, a mask and a costume. And this is how you do it. So, like in the story, you could read it. And I went ahead this one day, this guy, he was a mean guy, and his teacher's pet, well, his mama worked in the office and all that. So she was like a big boss, and they all had to listen to her, and he was the bully kid that thought he was big shot because his mama worked in the office, and he used to do a lot of mean things. Eventually, I had my mask and my shirt ready, and I had it in my backpack, and then one day he was out there picking on the kids in the schoolyard, and this is the first time I ever used the mask and all that. I ran behind the corner of the building and got my mask and my shirt on, and I ran back out there, and I just laid into him, gave him a taste of his own medicine. And he didn't like it. He was on the ground, and he used to pour milk on kids' heads. He'd find it out the garbage can, get these old stale sour milks, and go pour it on people's heads, to run up behind them and pour it on their head and stuff, and punch them in the stomach and all that. Well, I had a sour milk, too. I knew there was sour milks in the garbage, and I grabbed that and all, and I slapped it all over his face and everything, too. And then I made my escape, and before the teachers could get, so I worked real fast at it, and I made my escape, and I came back without the mask and shirt on, and just blended in the crowd, and I seen what was going on, and his mama came out, who did this? Who did this? And then some kid said, it was a masked guy. And another one goes, it was a superhero. He beat up the bully. And then that was when I said, yep, I did it. I have become an official superhero. That was way back, like in second grade. So all my life, and I'm 49 now, and all my life I've always had me a costume, a suit, and later on, as I faced bigger enemies and more dangerous enemies, I started with the armor and stuff. One of the first times I wound up using armor was I was going up against this guy. He used to fling these butterfly knives around, and just trying to make the story short, I had to go and battle him. And so what I did was I had some help with my friend, the Living Laser, and we taped these magazines around my stomach, and I taped the magazines around my arms, had these thick gloves, and I put on a helmet, and I went after him, and he tried to slice me, and then I had my arms up, and he was so surprised because he was slicing me, and I had a jacket on too, and it was cutting through the jacket, but he couldn't get through the magazines, the thick magazines, and I wound up beating him up, and to make the story short, without all the details, I taught him a good lesson, and after that, he wasn't the guy that he thought he was anymore.
So now, do you make your own costume or gear? I don't know if you should necessarily call it a costume, but do you make it yourself or?
Yes, a lot of it I do. A lot of it I do, and then there's, I put different parts and pieces together. And these days, I still have the old iron chest. I built that many years ago when I was like 16 years old in the welding shop, and I had to go up against some enemies with the iron fist. And then I made my own weapons like my shield and all that. I used to make my own homemade pepper juice. And things like that. I got my iron whip and all that too. And there's different little tricks and things I have, all kinds of things, stuff that special beads that someone's chasing me. I sling them down and make them fall. And then as for the suits themselves, originally I used to sew it all myself. I used to sew them all myself. And then I still do a lot of the design and work like that. And then I'll find stuff like the motorcycle gear and different parts and stuff and modify it and put some metal in behind it, like saw blades. I use saw blade metal because that's pretty good and bulletproof stuff. And then, I just design and put a concept together. And some of the stuff from the Army surplus store. Then I ordered a spandex suit because at that time, I think when I got on pretty well, getting well known, when I got in the well known zone, I've seen a couple other of these superheroes. When I got on the internet, some of them were wearing some spandex, and I said, "All right, I can do that." I think I can pull it off, and I actually just found out, that I could pull it off pretty good. The women wound up liking it a lot. So yeah, I said, well, and then it's unmistakable. You're walking down in the city streets. You got to let them know who you are. Now, there's some guys, they think, they're going to wear a black ninja suit, but that don't work good with the cops so much. You got to make yourself out to look like a real superhero, and then they know what you're going to stand for, because I worked hard, very hard at making superheroes around the world a known thing. When I first started off, even back on the internet, there might have been 5 or 6 guys actually calling themselves real life superheroes, but I took it to very serious, very serious standards, and went out there and did everything I said I did, and I did it with the suit and made myself known. I made a spectacle of myself. I did crazy stunts, whatever I had to do to make superheroes worldwide. That was my plan, and then sure enough it is now. There's thousands of real-life superheroes around the world now.
How many times has the suit actually protected you from getting hurt?
Oh, very important to have a helmet, and then plus the vest. I have a couple of them. They're padded, and they're padded, and it's a hard impact plastic, and like I say, the metal that's inside of them. I've had people come at me before with sticks and bats and things like that, and come hit me and all that, and try to sneak me from behind, and it's hard to do. I'm always alert to begin with, and they try to hit me. I take a lot of the hits.
What?
You don't get hit easy. It's not easy to get punched and hit so easily. You got helmets and shoulders pads and a chest plate and a back plate and arm elbow protection, wrist guards, and fighting gloves. Knee braces, and I've got the hand
I think I lost you there a little bit. Master Legend, I'm losing you there. I'm losing the reception. You're dropping out on me.
All right, well, I'm sorry about that.
Nope, there you are. You're back. I got you back there. Sorry about that. So,
it's a lot of storms going on around here.
That's all right. I just didn't want you to keep going when we couldn't get what you were saying there. So, but yeah, I would imagine it would help protect you, from stuff out there in the field. But what's some of the worst stuff you've come across out there recently?
Recently, I did, and it didn't take any of my gear to really save me with it. There was a guy got jumped, and he was doing pretty good on his own. He was a big guy, but this two guys jumped him, and he was still fighting them off. And another one of them came running up, and I saw him reaching into his pocket and yanked out a knife, and he would have stabbed the guy, but I went ahead and just karate chopped it right out of his hand and tripped him, bang, at the same time. Then there was a crowd of people also around, so he didn't even know who really did it to him. Couldn't even see. He said sometimes that's the fastness, the speed, the accuracy that you have to have. So that's one of the latest things. I think I saved the guy from getting stabbed there. That's one of the latest. But I've been stabbed a few times myself, and got shot twice. But that was a long time ago. It's been a while since I've taken any bad injuries in the fighting world. I've gotten pretty good at it, all these years. It's hard to take an injury, I guess the latest bad injury I had was when I was fighting some crack dealers back in Winter Park, and then this one guy he did sneak me, and I couldn't block it in time, and he hit me on the side of my mouth and cracked some of my teeth with a pipe.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I lost a few teeth there.
What are some of these guys shocked when you pop out and try to stop whatever they're doing? I mean, you're dealing with crack dealers here.
It
doesn't scare you.
They don't know what to expect at first, but now that I'm so well known, they know who I am. I'm known so well around Orlando, and that when they see me pop up, they know there's going to be some trouble. And then you could even read about it in Rolling Stone magazine, where I'd worked with a police sergeant, and I wound up helping them shut down every crack house in Winter Park, because when you're a long-haired hippie guy like me, you can blend in. They think you're just some typical loser hoping I'll come buy some of their crack or something from them. But I always tell them, you see this hair? There's not a gray hair in it, and I'm almost 50. And if I was some crackhead, that I don't think I'd have a bald spot, and my hair would be all gray and all that falling out. So, but they never realize that until it's too late. So,
wow.
Like I say, out there in Winter Park, I fought many people. It was almost like at least a good 2-year straight battle. And I've had people attack me. They found out where I lived. Some attacked me in my yard. Two guys came at me and knocked on my door, and I was expecting somebody to come on over, but it wasn't who I was expecting, and they tried to push right into my door. Think they were going to get in my house. One guy had a hammer, other guy had actually a quart bottle, and they thought that was going to get me. But the next thing you know, when I'm going through the whole fighting story, that one guy, so funny, I actually beat him up pretty badly, and it's not too funny because one guy got a brain hemorrhage, and the other guy, there was this loose mailbox, with a post. How you put a post hole digger and you got
right
on a mailbox on a post, a metal post. He tried to throw the thing at me, and I jumped in the air and kicked it right back at him and clunked him right in the mouth with it, and knocked his head into the concrete. But that wasn't even the one that got brain hemorrhage. And he was running for it. And the other guy, he was so drunk or on some kind of something, he didn't realize, how badly he was beat up. And then cops came and called the police, and they're trying to blame me because they're like, you sure beat him up really bad. And I said, well, what do you expect me to do? There's a hammer. Yeah,